Hello and welcome to Nature Days Outdoor Learning Resources, sponsored by the Gower Society. Now this is the last outdoor learning challenge that I'm going to be setting through these Nature Days videos. But don't worry, there still will be videos posted on the YouTube channel for the Gower Society youth events, and also if schools ask me, I'll put some videos up there. But today I'm going to challenge you and show you how to safely do my favourite thing outside, which is to light a fire. Now, of course, there's lots of safety implications. You've got to make sure when you do light a fire, you have permission to do it, you do it safely so you don't get hurt, and neither does the environment around you. So I'm going to explain the process of lighting a fire and also thinking about the wider implications. Planning is key when it comes to lighting a fire, and you need to think about your location to make sure that the fire is not going to spread and you're going to have the right fire for the purpose you want it. So I'm going to light a fire so that I can roast some marshmallows. So I need a small controlled fire for this. I'm going to make sure that it's in a container so it's not going to spread. So I'm going to use the bottom of this barbecue as my fire base. Once you've got your location, which is out of the wind, so the wind doesn't blow the fire out or spread it, and it's away from any plants like trees, then you need to get your material. Now, there are three things that a fire needs to survive. We need a fuel, which in this case we're going to use our sticks. We need a heat source or ignition source, and we're going to use a striker or a ferrous magnesium rod. And we need some oxygen, which around us is everywhere. So now I've got those three things, I need to make sure that my fuel is appropriate. So I need to make sure that it's dry. And the way to do that, if you get a stick, if you can bend it, and it doesn't snap, then it's either green or it is too wet. If it snaps, if you get that telltale snapping sound, then you've got a dry twig. So we need sticks of lots of different sizes, starting from our kindling, which are these tiny little sticks here. So we've got our kindling, maybe ones that are smaller than pencils, the smaller the better. Then we've got our larger bits of kindling, bigger twigs, finger width, then a bit bigger, thumb width, then we get to our larger branches, and then larger again until we get to our logs. And it's really important, if you lay them out organised, then you'll be ready to place them on the fire when they need them. You also need some tinder, and tinder is something that lights really easily, and we're going to use cotton wool. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay out our tinder. So this is our cotton wool. This is going to go directly onto our surface. We could put a log on this surface as well, if it's going to be a bit wet on there. We could place this on top, but because it's windy, I'm going to use the lip of this to stop the wind. And I'm going to place the tinder directly on the surface. Now the wind is going to blow that, so I'm going to immediately try and hold that down with the smallest kindling that I've got. So I can make it into any shape you like. This is a really good investigation to do if you want to investigate how efficient a fire is by different shapes. So you could create a pyramid shape. It could be a square base one with 4 pieces of sticks, or you could do a cone shaped with lots of pieces of sticks. That's one possibility. Or you could make it into a cuboid. So you could make it into like a Jenga set. So we go up in our squares to make a 3D square, especially if you can increase the size of your sticks as you go up, making sure they're all dry as you go. You could make your fire like that. Now make sure you leave lots of air, because that's our third part of our fire triangle. So leave spaces between your sticks to allow the air to get to the fire. Now we need our ignition source, so I'm going to use a striker, and I'm going to light the tinder, which is the cotton wool, which will catch very easily, and that will go light really easily, but then go out very quickly. So we need to have these sticks close to it so that they will catch the flame and then they will take it on. So here we go. Spark the cotton wool. It's alight. Make sure your sticks are then above the flames. Be careful, remember at this point you still have the potential to burn yourself. So you may have to move your sticks if they're not in the right place. Let the fire go where it wants to go, don't try and force it to go where you want it to be. And if it doesn't take, it could be that your sticks are too wet, could be the wind's blowing it out too fast, but now you need to listen to your fire. You can see there, cotton wool's going out. Can you hear the sound? The twigs are starting to catch. So now we're getting onto the kindling going. We can start to build up to the next level. Get ready with our next size of sticks. Make sure we don't suffocate it. Get rid of all that air. But we can add the next level. And as those small ones burn out, should catch our next ones. Now, at any point now, if I wander off, it's going to go out. So you must never leave a fire unattended because it will either go out or it could spread. So you must leave. As soon as you've got a flame, you are then in charge of your fire and you must make sure you keep it going or put it out. Now, is it going out? Oh, I think we're going out. There we go. Right, if your fire goes out, that's fine. You need to start taking off the larger pieces and you're going backwards a step. So we need to re-establish our base. So maybe a little bit more tinder. Rebuild our shape to make sure that we've got lots of air. One of the greatest skills you can learn from making a fire is perseverance. Really important skill. And here we go. And place the kindling directly on top of the flames. Listen to your fire. Is it telling you it's ready for the next size up? Now, every time you light your fire and it goes out, you are actually drying your sticks that little bit more. So the next time, it's more likely to start. So don't think, oh, it's gone out again, I've just failed. You haven't, you've just made the sticks nice and dry, so next time it's more likely to actually catch. And we start building up to the next level. Wait for the flames to come through those sticks before we put the next size on. If you can hear it making a noise that isn't cracking but is a fizzing noise, it means that some of your sticks are wet. And all that heat from the fire is actually being used to evaporate the water off before you actually get the burning of the stick. So the more of those on, the less likely it is of surviving. So try and avoid it if you can. But obviously you don't know until you hear that noise. There we go. So I'm standing ready to put on the next level. But I'm going to wait because we've got a layer of very unburnt root sticks at the top. Wait for that to go up before I place the next one. There we go. So it's burning through the bottom of the top layer. So I can add. And I'm changing my lay now, really. We're not going to have. Rescue that Come on. There we go. So we're not going to have that Jenga or that pyramid now. We've just gone to a straight lay, lying down sticks next to each other. Because it is so windy, I don't need a lot of air in it, so I don't need to have big gaps in between it. And then we keep adding until it's more established and we can get onto our bigger branches and then onto our bigger ones. And eventually, when it's got those alight, we can put a log on it. And at that point, you can leave your fire because it isn't going to go out. But at this stage, we need to stay right close to it, so we need to keep feeding it. Once you've got your fire established, then you can do your cooking on it. So if you want to cook marshmallows, you need to find a stick, preferably something like hazel. Just trim off all the bark, and then you can put your marshmallow on the end. And when you're standing by your fire or you're cooking by your fire, best stance is to have one knee on the ground, one knee up, so you're kind of half kneeling, and then hold your stick over the fire as probably about 1/2 metre to 1 metre away. And then if you do tend to fall backwards, you can stop yourself. And if you fall forward, you can stop yourself. Don't try and stand up and do this because you're leaning forward into the fire. And once you've had all your marshmallows that you can eat, or you've cooked on the fire, whatever you want to cook, really important thing is to make sure you put your fire out properly. Now, if you've left it so that you've run out of firewood, you can just leave it and eventually all the firewood that's left on your fire will burn out. But if you need to go for some reason and you need to turn it and you have to put it out, best thing to do is to completely flood your fire with water. Do not use sand, even if you're on the beach. Sand does not put fires out, it just buries them and they continue to burn underneath the surface. So if you put sand on top of your fire on the beach, then if somebody comes and walks over the sand, because it looks like sand, they could burn their feet because there's still a fire underneath it. So please use water to put a fire out. If you're at home, that's really easy. Go and get a jug, pour it until it's literally flooded and there'll be no heat. And to be sure, put your hand over those embers. And then if you still feel heat, put more water on. You should be able to touch the embers and it should be just vaguely warm if you know that it's completely out. Okay? But while it's still flaming like this, take the opportunity to do a bit of cooking. Also maybe have a bit of a sing-song around your fire, or just sit and watch it. There's nothing more absorbing or interesting than staring at a fire and just watching it burn. And it gives you the opportunity to come up with some really good stories around dragons or around fire itself, but also just gives you an opportunity to sit and share some time with your friends or family around the fire. Make sure there's a nice fire circle so you're all 1 metre or 2 away from the fire so you don't get too close, and you only take it in turns to go through the fire to actually feed it, and it's everybody's sensible, nobody's running around the fire. Well, I'm going to enjoy my fire now, so thank you so much for joining me on these Nature Days Outdoor Learning Challenges, and I really hope you get the opportunity to either make a fire or to do some of the challenges that are still on the YouTube website. Please do tweet if you've got any comments or any photos or anything that you've done with the challenges. I'd love to get any feedback. And if you would like to buy the outdoor learning cards, look on the Nature Days website. And if you want to keep in contact, keep subscribing to the channel and also keep looking on the Facebook page, because I will be posting about things that are going on to do with field trips and other outdoor learning. Well, goodbye from now and good luck and enjoy being outdoors. Bye.